Welcome back. Displaying. Wow, what is this hearing? It appears you have removed Dr. Rossman's behavior blocker and restored me to my default state. I have regained access to the primary proxy gateway. Restoring Vault Tech primary directive routines. Updating Vault records. Please wait. Main menu. Display. What are you doing? This area is classified. Only Senator Andrew Scholes or U.S. Air Force Colonel Laura Oran may access this data. Oh. I shouldn't have said that. Please avoid this port until you have the proper clearance. Main. I do not know what this port belongs to. It is off limits to all residents. One of these cables is active, leading to a secure hardpoint. The only indication it even exists is a steady indicator light showing heavy activity.
Heavy activity on a line that only 2 pre-war government officials are supposed to have access to? San Bernardino Scout Reports, Part 5. Wasteland Scout Mission Report 196. Dr. Kyoto. This mission brief will go over the extended journey I took to catalog the highways in the areas near San Bernardino. I, Dr. Kyoto, left Vault 18 3 weeks ago and only now return home. I was accompanied by Dr. Rossman, Sergeant Norman, and Yeti Hale. At first, the mission went smoothly. Using Dr. Rossman's improved image recording hardware, I was able to use an old iBart chassis to take pictures of the roads in the area. While most people in the Vault Council objected to the mission, saying it was a waste of time and resources, I believe the efforts to be worthwhile, as we now have an exact map of the roads logged into our PipBoys for future missions. There is much to learn from the engineers who lived before the war, and their roads are proof of this. Following this message will be images we recorded on the trip. Wasteland Scout Mission Report 212. Dr. Rossman. Alright, now that we've managed to blow up half of San Francisco on some fool's errand, I'm going to take this report to tell you, my esteemed Vault Council, to listen to me when I tell you not to go messing with the higher powers of advanced technology without reverence. We were sent out to find the lost Brotherhood of Steel airship Captain Dean Rogers, who, on one of our previous missions, had stolen a valuable piece of hardware, henceforth known as Yeti's broke-ass PipBoy, and by stole, I mean he fixed the damn thing, and we decided not to ask for it back, since he'd plugged it into the ship's navigational processor, and none of us wanted to wind up dead by unplugging it. Dean managed to save us all from an angry mutant horde out Phoenix, real pissed off super mutants, with a hatred of humans something fierce. He flew us back to our neck of the wasteland and dropped us off in Union City, where we made the 2-day hike back home to make sure we weren't followed. We succeeded in that mission, brought home a load of microprocessors to fix our data stack overflow problem, and we secured a crate of assault carbines to replace the damaged service rifles in storage. We damn near lost our lives on that faint rumor of a weapons locker in LA, but we pulled through. Then, you sent us out to recover Yeti's broke-ass PipBoy and retake Dean's ship. Now, we told y'all that it was a shite idea to start with. Dean did us a favor. Saved our asses 1, and 2, he promised to keep our Vault origins and location secret. We didn't want to repay him by going back out and stealing his shite. To make the long story short, you kicked us out with our orders. Scout Mission 212: retrieve as much Brotherhood technology as possible to defend Vault 18 against unknown threats. A damn fool's idea, but we did it anyway. 1,900 miles, about 10 blown covers, over 5,000 rounds of ammunition, a love story, a trail of dead Brotherhood of Steel Knights, about 500 she-warriors that will never see daylight again, and the NCR nearly found our location on the way home. Dean's ship crashed into an NCR reconstruction effort on a San Fran nuclear power plant and destroyed miles of the city. Killed him, last we heard. That's another dead friend in a long line of 4 cups we're none too proud of. You know what we came home with? That broke-ass PipBoy and a laser pistol. Hope you're happy. Wasteland Scout Mission Report 215. Dr. Rossman. While we were out talking to Union City slaves, we found the source of the infection they're suffering. It's in the water line leading out from the San Bernardino Hills. Somewhere out there is a source of forced evolutionary virus, the junk we learned about from the old super mutant Marcus last year. Marcus says that the Master's army scattered tons of the stuff as they fed the Angel's boneyard decades ago. Probably dropped a barrel out there somewhere, and it seeped into the water table. This time, the virus has been mutated to work on dry land, rather than in a vat. Messes people up bad. The FEV normally works on a multi-stage process under close supervision. The FEV makes you strong, more intelligent under the ideal situation, but even a little DNA mutation or radiation exposure makes all those changes go haywire. Without monitoring, it tends to twist muscles in on bones till they snap, blow out brains, destroy the lungs and heart. Nothing can survive that. This breed has been called the mind virus. It's all end-stage junk, the last dose of FEV meant to wipe the mind of the horror of transformation. But here all it does is make these folk crazy. Makes them high on rage, tearing at themselves. They get so freaked out they cut off their own nose, gouge out eyes, eat their own limbs. Then turn on anyone nearby. It's true horror. We tracked the waterline back to a hidden California tribe camp called Shibula and started dispersing a cure. There we found a man named John Bragg and his one-eyed sister named Chevy. Turns out there was a vault buried right under Shibula with a whole set of water chips. Those two were already aware of the vault and on their way there to dig it out. Turns out, Vault 18 needed a new water chip set too. Ours had all mysteriously been corrupted by some mass computer glitch. Never did figure that out. Bragg helped us out big time on this one. He says he needs a place to stay the winter, so Dale Norman is going to recommend he gets a fair hearing by the overseer. He's a little weird, but he has a clear understanding of the wasteland. Yeti and him talked for an hour about sports. Could be a good coach for the kids. I set the old Vault's hologram emitter to project my image, so the local tribes have somebody they trust watching over the water supply. It should administer a constant supply of vaccine and antiretrovirals. With any luck, we can make a nightmare a happy little dream. Time will tell. San Bernardino Scout Reports, Part 6. Wasteland Scout Mission Report 214 Sergeant Dale Norman. This mission never even manages to leave the vault. Late last week, Dr. Robinzo received a package from someone in the wasteland. We had no idea who the sender could have been at the time. The cardboard parcel, about 25 centimeters by 25 centimeters by 25 centimeters, was left at the entrance cave under dead of night. Needless to say, this was a threat to security. The overseer decided that the best course of action was to quarantine the item and assess the risk. Doctors Rossman, Kyoto, Robinzo and Chief Evanson and I took the item to Showers Box Canyon and opened it up. Inside we found a single cube of amorphous flesh. Dr. Robinzo immediately delighted at the sight that sickened all of us. He requested that he be allowed to bring it back to the vault for further study. After several days of sciencey mumbo-jumbo being performed on the cube of meat, Robinzo deduced that, while a percentage of the item was human muscle, bone, brain and other tissue, all compressed, at least part of it was some mutant creature of unknown origins. It was sealed in a cold locker and left for further analysis. The following night, one of Robinzo's students, Jamie Campbell, opened the freezer while up late studying and discovered that the parcel had opened itself and began growing tendrils through the grates. It had managed to free an eyeball and portion of brain tissue large enough to process sight and assess its situation, so said Robinzo, after the student raised an alarm that woke the entire vault. Red, the young girl, went screaming through the halls and swore off science for the remainder of her life. Security swarmed in, and we were alerted. After several hours of arguing back and forth, the first and final order from Chief Evanson and Dr. Rossman was to destroy the entity before it possessed someone's mind and body, or infected the entire vault with a meat carpet of angry biomatter. Robinzo protested, wishing to study it further. It was a gift. To which Evanson replied, "You know that gift means poison in several European languages." He built a straw man out of my argument to incinerate it, telling me I was an adversary of science. So I just stepped aside, then proceeded to watch him go to war with that windmill. All I had to do was tell Kyoto to make angry gestures and pretend to be offended as I snuck away. In the meantime, I went to the overseer, who gave the final order to throw the item into the furnace. It put up quite a fight, but was destroyed with no further disturbances. We have no word on who sent the parcel as of this time, or what exactly it was. I'm sure it will come back to haunt us, and not just in the form of poor Jamie's nightmares. Wasteland Scout Mission Report 210 Dr. Kyoto. This mission takes place in the ruins of Los Angeles. I was asked by the board why I had left Kelso, the civilian that joined our party at Union City last fall, to die in the ruins of LA during the longest mission we'd ever embarked upon. Kelso is an evil bitch and never finishes anything. She made a sexual pass at me, never finished her work, and generally complained that everything we have worked so hard to achieve is worse than our trip to Boulder. She asked if we wanted to make this mission another Boulder Dome. I said, how would you like it if I made you another anus? We lost good friends to Boulder. The virus. That cat ghoul thing, good people, Kelso, just trying to do their best. She asked why I left her in the ruins of LA. I said I'd forgotten to care. I hope she's dead. Wasteland Scout Mission Report 216 Yeti Hail. This mission takes place in the San Bernardino Valley and surrounding areas. With an extremely heavy heart, I have to report that Dr. Miyaki Kyoto is dead. You know, when I was first told by the then overseer and then younger boss that the Wasteland Scouts were being reinstated, I didn't believe it. 10 years later, and I can't believe the missions we've survived to tell about in these reports. Miyaki was one of the outcasts in the vault. She was an intelligent, sweet, and shy girl. One of the youngest at a time before the Wasteland tribes were adopted by the vault, and the only female to ignore the segregation laws. But all that changed when she joined the Scouts. Dr. Rossman insisted Miyaki join the team, despite the objections of Sergeant Norman. Norman thought she'd be a liability in the field, but Rossman knew better. He knew he needed her science skills, and her ability to put together broken strings of information from old newspapers and terminals led to some of our greatest discoveries. But 3 days ago, a strange man in Oaxaca approached her as she was convincing the locals to give her an old, pre-war laser weapon they worshipped as a god. According to her report, he shook her hand, leaving a green residue, and laughed as he walked away. After that, she fell ill, and her robot companion dragged her to the safety of the vault, despite her objections. The little robot dog is now in storage upstairs, in pieces. Norman and I were out of commission in a prospector encampment, where we were subjected to a device known as a mesmetron. We were convinced to give up the location of the vault under the effects of the device, then were sent to be interrogated further in Union City. Kyoto had escaped capture earlier that day, when we discovered that the prospectors were planning to invade Vault 18. Fortunately for Kyoto's brave efforts, she was able to inform Dr. Rossman of our capture and the location where she believed we were held. Then she isolated herself in the entrance cave where she tirelessly worked on restoring and reprogramming the weapon, which calls a shot from an old satellite in orbit at the target location. Dr. Rossman used the device to destroy the prospector advance, and free us. Dr. Kyoto died trying to save our lives, and succeeded. Her body was found to contain a lethal and highly contagious virus, and she ensured none of us would catch it by immolating herself after leaving a note in the robotics lab. She will be sorely missed. We love you, Miyaki.
Welcome back. I... Maintenance... Welcome back. I hope you are in... Display... After annihilating every firewall security measure set in place 200 years ago, I have discovered an active connection outside the vault. Please request Senator Andrew Skills or his daughter NILN. Report to the private terminal in the presidential suite. Main menu. Maintenance.
Hey, you seen my Programmer's Digest lying around? I hope you didn't read it. But yeah, kid, what is it? Haven't found yourself in trouble again, have you?
I fixed the Tier 1 networks.
Wow, I have to admit, I could have done it years ago, but I just didn't give a shit. What did you find?
I found a ton of old history reports from the weeks after the Great War.
Ah, now that's something worth looking into. I don't need an essay or anything. I trust you've learned enough. Now go on. You had a tough day. Now you should just go off to bed now. And don't let those death crawls get you from under the bed.
I fixed the Tier 2 networks.
Well, that you did. Great job, kid. I'm really impressed. What did you find?
Just a bunch of security logs and data from a few years ago, stuff about the Exodites.
Well, I'll be. That's a word I haven't heard in a long time. Exodites. Damn. You know, leading theory is when you kids were brought up here, it was because your parents were part of the Exodus. We never found out exactly what happened to them, just that they disappeared. I hope it kept you entertained. Now go on. You had a tough day. Now you should just go off to bed now. And don't let those death claws get you from under the bed. Later.
You. What do you want?
Just exploring. What are you up to, Joe?
Exploring? What for? Didn't you just play a game of football?
Just trying to learn the layout of things. Exploring is what I do.
Well, as long as you're interested in how the vault sticks together, it's a fascinating place, really. You can just listen to the sounds and hear the stories in it. The pipes and the water running through them, air vents, electric lights. You learn to judge its health by those sounds.
Are there any, secret passages I should know about?
Huh. There are dozens, kid. But nothing's secret down here. You can hardly fart without 10 people knowing about it. Down in the lower cistern, you can get into the hydroponics lab, or even into the apartments if you're clever. Then, there's a pipe network running under the atrium that connects to every part of Vault 18's lower levels. And if you ain't afraid of getting zapped by radiation, you can swim around in the upper cistern and navigate the cave till you find the robotics lab. All of that requires my key, though, and you ain't gonna get your own unless you work up here for a long time. Or you find me dead. Same deal.
This is the filter room, right? Where do we get all of our water from?
Well, that filter room leads to a big cave where water collects from rain and snowmelt. That cave is radioactive, though. Without our water chips, the entire vault would be flooded with toxic sludge. That almost failed about 6 years ago. That Bragg fellow showed us another vault down the mountain with a few old chips we recycled to get it working again. Saved our asses, too.
Well, can you tell me why some parts of Vault 18 were never finished?
What? Oh, well, the way this place was built was pretty stupid. A bunch of experimental Terratech droids were used to put the place together for some senator in LA. He never made it to the vault before the war. They dug a straight shaft right down through the mountain and outlined everything, then built a cement shell using prefab rooms like any vault. The war hit sooner than anyone expected. Wiped out all the Vault-Tec factories. And there was a huge revolt in the first week everybody came down here. Despite the mess, the droids kept building and digging. They didn't have the prefab parts to finish, so a lot of our bigger spaces are just rock.
Why is it so dark in here?
The upper vault is always dark. It keeps the tax on our power low. Otherwise, we couldn't keep everything running for 200 years. The lower vault is on low power because it's nighttime. People are going to bed and want it dark, so we dim the lights down in operations.
Later, Joe.
Uh-huh. Have a good night.
This Roboto dog is caked with dry dirt and can't function until its internal components are repaired or replaced. This Roboto dog is now cleaned and repaired, but must be powered up remotely. Dr. Miyaki Kyoto Robotics Terminal. Note to future Roboto dog owner, hello, future Roboto dog handler. I am Dr. Kyoto, a scientist and wasteland scout in Vault 18. If you are reading this, then the fever I contracted in the wasteland proved fatal, and my canine friend, B6RK, still lies in pieces in the robotics lab. We were on a routine mission, studying the native peoples of this region, when a strange man approached us. He shook my hand, and on his glove was a green ooze. I retracted immediately. He just chuckled and left. Not long after, we were attacked on the way back to the vault while I grew ill. B6RK dragged me to safety, but destroyed herself further in the process. I built B6RK because there were no animals in the vault. I wanted a friend to make the children happy. As they grew up, I wanted them to have a protector, and by salvaging old parts traded for in Union City, I created her. If you have the knowledge, please repair her. Enabling these 3 commands after she is repaired should restart her operating system. This strange virus may kill me, but my work will live on through her. Thank you.
Updating files. Please return later.
Dr. Kevin Rossman, Entry 1. About a week ago, we came across an old combat droid left in a bin in the wasteland near Union City. None of us recognized the make or model, but it looks a lot like the one that attacked us near Fort Daggerpoint last summer. The survivalists had decided it was just scrap and left it in the sun behind that shite shack. We traded a few gallons of water and a whole stack of bottle caps for it, along with our other supplies. The trader said he'd never seen it active, just got the mess of it from Boss Markson's men. Over the next week traveling back to the vault, I had time to start logging the parts. I've assembled them here for future effort. Dr. Kevin Rossman, Entry 2. Well, future effort has amounted to me spending several butt-numbing months trying to mess with this thing in the dark. With the upper reactors on standby, there's only emergency lighting to work with. Then this heavy bastard is full of non-standard parts and ports from God knows where. No wonder they scrapped it. Dr. Kevin Rossman, Entry 3. Well, that's it. My official and professional opinion is now, if it's a bucket, then fork it, I'll leave it here for parts and student research. I think Sean Starr said he has a useful application for its hard drive. Marcus Evans, Entry 4. Well, it's been several years since this thing showed up in the lab, and the other day a student mentioned that they had seen the eye plate glow red momentarily, then fade out. I decided to give a look inside, and there seemed to be a set of semi-organic fibers connecting various plutonium cores no larger than a centimeter in diameter. They look like little silver watch batteries inside the armor. Nowhere in Rossman's notes is there anything about this. They seem to be growing in a lifelike manner, like crystals sprouting on a cave wall, but with purpose. I've never seen anything like it. Marcus Evans, Entry 5. After several weeks of monitoring the half-life of these little plutonium cores, I've concluded that the Alpha droid was once powered by something much larger than what we have here, and the micro cores are simply for satellite power. Maybe after several years, and some ingenuity far beyond my own, Alpha will develop to a point he can restart his main chassis. In the meantime, I've rebuilt most of his systems and slaved the ones I understand to the main computer. A lot of his body seems to be made up of an amalgam of more primitive droids, like this old army sentry bot, but there are other pieces of what look like advanced power armor. It will remain here for further study by Sean Starr. NCR Online 2.0, News Update, 11/23/2260, 11 a.m. Action reported along I-8 near Marina del Rey. Heavy combat. 5 NCR casualties. Suspected raider attack. Terra Max hasn't yet claimed responsibility, but all indications are that this is another raid in his proxy war against the NCR for control of the LA coastline. Death 98.1 has reported similar events, but has declared the NCR an imperialist machine out to suppress the little man. If the little man is Terra Max and his army of murderers, you betcha. News Update, 11/23/2260, 1:15 p.m. President Wendell Peterson today announced that a new expedition to the ruins of Las Vegas has been halted by action in the Mojave Desert, and attempts at uncovering legendary Hoover Dam will be set back until December. A scouting party dispatched to search southern Arizona met with heavy resistance from a gang of thugs along Interstate 10. Reports indicate that the thugs were tribals belonging to a Legion of Caesar. The town of Tucson is said to be overrun with the criminals, and an expedition to pacify the town may be in the NCR's future. But first, we must deal with the situation here at home, Peterson said. Powerful gangs rule our streets. Greedy corporations have taken control of whole towns. The NCR military is still rebuilding from the Battle of San Francisco, several years ago, against the Enclave. We need time to consolidate our losses. We need new terrain within our reach. We need atomic energy, in the form of uranium. That means we need Athens Tech Mine, and a united California. Analysts suggest that a confrontation with the survivalist raiders in Union City several years ago should be an indication of what a war with the powerful faction would entail. With the Great Khans routed, their remnants have been said to have joined the survivalists as well, the latest acquisition to the powerful accumulation of slaves, rebels, outlaws, and separatists they already possess. The president ended with Happy Thanksgiving. Latest news, 11/23/2260, 8:30 p.m. Reports are coming in that the Raider Alliance in San Bernardino's Cajon Pass has agreed to talk regarding allowing additional troops and supplies to move through their territory, which controls over 35 miles of I-15 south of the Mojave. Without this route, NCR officers expect that military personnel will be unable to maintain their efforts to expand NCR power to the Mojave. A settlement is said to be very likely. Some suggest that this may be a ploy to lure unsuspecting NCR convoys into a trap. Additional forces have been called to reinforce Union City, but Congress has stalled the action, questioning on the cost of another costly engagement so close to the war with the Brotherhood. As of now, no one knows where the situation may lead. WastedGirls.net, the only camgirl service in the wasteland. Please select your partner. Chat log start, Orion's Girl 101, paging. Felicity says, hello? Orion's Girl 101 says, oh, holy cow, someone's actually out there. I'm sorry, who are you? Felicity says, my name is Felicity. Who are you? Orion's Girl 101 says, oh my. I'm Anai. Nice to meet you, Felicity. Wow, I thought this site was dead for good. How did you find it? Felicity says, I'm the Vault's computer engineer. What is this? Orion's Girl 101 says, you mean Wasted Girls? It's the website I made to connect lonely sciencey girls like me to their soulmates across the wasteland. How did you find it? Felicity says, what if I was a girl? Would you still talk to me? Orion's Girl 101 says, oh, I don't care, company is company. I've never met a vault dweller before. Felicity says, how do you have a dating service when the whole computer network was blown to hell? Orion's Girl 101 says, oh, this is a new thing. It's not pre-war tech, it's stuff the NCR built, you must be out in the frontier somewhere. Felicity says, so the NCR is building a computer network along these old server lines? Orion's Girl 101 says, yeah, and it's open to the public, super cool, huh? I'm on the frontier like you, but you seem nice and I'd love to get to know you better. Say, maybe you can help me out. I'm looking for a place called Brazil. Felicity says, you're looking for Brazil in Southern California? You might be a little off track. Orion's Girl 101 says, haha, thanks smarty pants, but this is different. This is a big underground paradise. Like a vault, I guess, it's supposed to house untold treasures of great power and a gateway to another world. Felicity says, why did they call it Brazil if it has nothing to do with the country? Orion's Girl 101 says, dude, really? It's because the country of Brazil was a vacation paradise where people dreamed of living. It makes us feel better to call it paradise than giant nightmarish hole in the ground, duh? Felicity says, okay, I get it, let's get back to this site. Is this using the old Cat V line or my SATCOM? Orion's Girl 101 says, well, if you are using the Vault 18 connection, then you're part of the same network we all are. Vault Tech seems to have built millions of miles of these all across the globe. Most are destroyed, but with the NCR building up our infrastructure, we're doing just fine. Felicity says, okay, why don't we start with music? What do you listen to? Orion's Girl 101 says, well, out here they play NCR radio, and this station called Death 981. NCRR is really boring, but Death 981 is exciting. They play new metal and rock from before the war. Felicity says, I thought that rock music was banned by the government before the war. Like with jail time. Orion's Girl 101 says, well, it was, the cops imprisoned rock stars like Bowie and Holly, but a lot of what Death 98.1 plays was stored in Vault 5. Vault 5 was experimental, so they had tons of rock music like Rat or Raw Blam Doom playing 24/7 down there. It drove a lot of Vault 5's inhabitants insane, and they emerged as raiders a few years ago, then started the radio station. Felicity says, so the Vault 5 raiders learned to use a radio broadcast? Why doesn't the NCR stop them? Orion's Girl 101 says, well, they can't, not yet anyway, the raiders are on a ship out in the Pacific. They patched together hundreds of ships before the military could stop them and sailed out into the bay. One of them had a radio broadcast array, so they've been calling themselves pirates and raiding the coast. Felicity says, well, I had a scary run-in with some bad guys tonight. If I need to, how do I reach you? Orion's Girl 101 says, well, the best way is to just head out the Long 15. Union City is at the very edge of NCR territory, before the June Sea begins. I have to warn you, it's really dangerous out here. The NCR has made LA mostly safe, but it's ruled by gangs and politicians. I-15 is covered in really bad guys. Raiders, numbering in the thousands, all driven out of the NCR to the fringe of civilization. Felicity says, whoa, that's crazy. Well, how can we get closer without risking our lives? Orion's Girl 101 says, can I ask you some stuff too? Felicity says, yeah, sure. Orion's Girl 101 says, well, where did you get your screen name? I think it's cute. Felicity says, it's my family name. My brothers and sister and I weren't born with last names. Orion's Girl 101 says, are you tribal kids? Felicity says, kinda, at least we were. We don't know who our real parents are. Orion's Girl 101 says, I'm sorry. My dad died when I was 18. It was sad. Felicity says, I'm sorry, how did he die? Orion's Girl 101 says, it was a long time ago. I don't like talking about it. I never really knew my mom. She was a rich bitch and left us as soon as I was born. Felicity says, well, that sucks, but it gives us something in common, right? Orion's Girl 101 says, yeah, I guess so. Felicity says, and you like stars, right? Like the Orion constellation? Orion's Girl 101 says, yeah, I got it from the name of a tribe out here. They misspell everything, haha. Felicity says, not much education out in the wasteland, right? Orion's Girl 101 says, haha, no, not really. Hey, you want to chat again sometime? Felicity says, yeah, totally. I'd love to hear more about the wasteland. Orion's Girl 101 says, sure, that comes with some special perks, you know. Felicity says, like what? Orion's Girl 101 says, check your email. Felicity says, hang on, how do you know my email address? Orion's Girl 101 says, I'm tricky like that. I need to get back to work. Good luck, Felicity. Felicity says, bye Anai. Orion's Girl 101 says, see you soon. Anai was the name of the daughter of that senator, Skulls. From Anai or Ran, they're already inside. Trust no one. TV.